fancy intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Can't believe it. We're here at the very end, y'all. 2024. We're wrapping up with our December voting now. So in this video, we're going to go over together what this month looked like. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Well, you will tell me. So if you're not familiar with this process, on your screen in the bottom, you'll find the link to this. We're going to be talking about patch 73, grading the end of December 2024 with all of you. We're going to talk about event store currency. I'll talk about the amounts that we ended up with, free-to-play amounts. I'm going to talk about the events, all the different things. And then, of course, at the very end of this, I'm going to give my opinion and my personal grade. So how about we go ahead and get started? We're just going to mark things here because, again, I'm just marking, not giving grades. Starting off with the officers. Very curious to see what people think here. Now, I am not really big on these officers, even though I'm a PvPer, because, well, how available were they? But you had Soren, Miscue, and Rami. Now, I'm not saying these are bad. I think if you're into PvP, they're great. I just acknowledge the fact that most players aren't as into PvP as I am. Now, I do think that they make good sets. The Explorer Retaliation Squad is what we focused on here in December. See, I was able to obtain Soren. Here's Miscue, below decks. Nice, nice, nice if you're using it on a ship with morale. So a lot of your Explorer builds. And then finally, Rami, who is also same idea, but with hull breach below decks. Now, the reason I focus on the hull breach and the morale, the below deck abilities, is I actually think for most players, that's where you get the benefit of these officers. I'm curious to see what players say. As a group, they actually are pretty effective if they're tiered up, but I do think they're a rare example of being able to be used immediately by almost anybody as below deck officers, and that might have value for y'all. So let me know what you think in the comment section and, of course, in the survey. Moving on over. Here's where it starts getting a little nitty gritty. Did you like the features this month? And the features is, well, maybe a controversial topic, and you might not necessarily agree with how I laid out the features here. So I got the features as a whole. Remember, you only have to do the first one. The others are optional. Have the new chaos tech. You can choose to participate in these questions or not. The Borg Polygon Armadas, and then the quality of life improvements. And I included part of the quality of life improvements with the events that we're going to have events graded themselves already. But Cosmic Cleanup getting an update was a quality of life improvement. The menu loading times, were they better? Like, I want you to actually grade. Did you feel that that improved anything? And if you participated in the Armada system or the chaos tech, let me know. I did not include the Revenant because the Revenant will have its own set of voting. So just kind of mark what you will for that, and then we'll move on to the next section just so we can discuss. Now, here's the ship. Personally, I'm actually really happy with what they've done with ships here lately. So here's mine right here. I've got it at tier 4. Why do I love the ship so much? Number one, it's useful outside of its own loop. It is strong enough to be used as like an OPC hunter, because I'm going to be using as that with nice cargo space. It is strong enough to be used in fighting regular hostiles. Is it going to replace your FKR ships? No, but we've come to expect and know that that is not something that's really on the table for almost any specialist ship that ever comes out. The biggest thing for me was, as a free-to-play path day one, I think that is a standard that Scopely needs to continue moving forward. I also want to point out to Scopely, who might be listening, it's in the Continuum Refiner, by the way, for the free-to-play path. This ship sold more than the Vindicator and the NSCA in the first 48 hours. So Scopely, listen, putting a free-to-play path day one clearly doesn't affect sales. Continue to do that. It makes your players happy. So back to the actual grading of this. Very curious to see what people thought. I don't want to hint into my grading, but really do want to see what y'all think. So remember, survey. Moving on to the next set. This is where we're going to get a little bit more detailed, but that's okay. Because with these details, I'm going to give you numbers. So clearly, this event calendar was an event store. How about we discuss how much was in the event store right above me? Here you go. So thanks to Jules for creating this, and I was updating it here to the end. Yes, this event store gave you more currency than we've had all year. Now, I know immediately you're going to look at previous Christmases and see that those are more. I'm going to give you the, call it a Scopely rebuttal, call it me being devil's advocate or whatever, but it is factual. Here's the big difference. You have 310,000 free-to-play loot. Keep in mind that number is gauging most 40-plus accounts. You could have ended up with a little bit less, but that was based on events. Yes, that is taking into account that some of the events could not be completed, like the Borg Polygon events. We did track all that. But 310,000, and you had the ability to still get materials. That is going to be a big counterpoint, and I'm just telling you things that I've heard when talking to Scopely. Yes, we hear that you want more event store currency, but at the same time, players are saying they want more materials in that month. There was a big gripe for a long time that event store months wiped out materials, as in you didn't get anything that month except event store currency. And now there's a little bit of a balance that they're trying to find. If you like or dislike that, please let me know down here in the optional give your thoughts. I want you to write out what you think, okay? I'm not telling you to like or dislike the amount of currency. You give me your honest opinion on that, but I do really want to hear your thoughts. Do you like a balance of choice rewards, getting materials, and event store currency, or would you rather have just more event store currency? But more to go through here than just event store currency. Remember, you can mark what you got in terms of good amount, nice amount, low amount, etc. right there. There's the total numbers. Also, want to show you another set of events here in a second, but daily overhaul. I want to know what you thought about the daily events getting overhauled. Pinnacle of Power. I'll hold my thoughts on that here in a second, but the build and research events, the fleet commander events, artifact hunt, all those 6 12-hour ones that got overhauled. The weekly ones, which is now, again, I list all of them: Cosmic Cleanup on Saturday, NSCA and Swarm Sunday, Ferengi Monday, Tech Tuesday, Final Weapon Wednesday, Cube Thursday, Voyager Friday. Don't forget that Thursday also includes the Vindicator event as well, and Cerritos Wednesday. All of that's baked in. Do you think that the weekly events are currently good? Do you like the overall change in structure? And last but not least, the ahead of the curve. Now, I'm purposely leaving out the big domination one. I'm only talking about ahead of the curve. Why? Not because I'm trying to let Scopely side, but because ahead of the curve is actually supposed to be a new system that you're going to have for officer sourcing. It's supposed to continue into the future. So I need to know, do you like it? Now, for those curious, I did have STFC statistics run the numbers. A little under 7% completed ahead of the curve. Now, I will admit, I did not even try to complete it, and there might be a lot of people out there who didn't. But ahead of the curve is something that's going to persist. 7% of people, a little bit under, completed it. Let me know what you think. Do you like the structure? Do you think it needs to be better, etc.? I will be making sure any written comment that is, profound and thought-provoking, it's more than just damn them. I will make sure that they see, because I do want to end the year with feedback going directly to the dev team and getting their thoughts. And that doesn't mean that I won't do the YouTube comments either. Of course, put them there, but really want to push more than just the grade, even though the grade is very important. So let's move on to the next part. Communication. Do you feel like they communicated well? There were a couple things I really liked in December. For example, they did a Q&A with live ops and game design available to all players. That's neato. There are definitely some things that they probably could have improved on as well. You let me know. And then last but certainly not least, the stability question. All right, there you go. That's the format. Now, 8 minutes in, as it's become normal, I'm going to give you my opinion. You can do whatever you want. If you don't want to be influenced by my opinion, you can turn the video off now or come back to it later or whatever. Here's where Rev's at. All right, level 53, US server. What did I think about the officers? I'm honestly indifferent to them. Even though I will use them, I tend to grade officers based on 2 major points. Can I source them immediately, easily? And will they affect the majority of the player base? And I think you're meh. I think the right here, no officers a must-have, but would be nice to have an upgrade eventually, fits these perfectly. So there you have it. By the way, for those curious, we are talking about changing this for 2025 and further. If you have anything that you would like to see changed about the survey, let me know about it. All right, grading features as a whole. I'm going to work from the bottom up. Personally, quality of life improvements, I think were solid. Nothing negative to say about them. Could have been more, but I don't think they were bad. The board polygon and solar armadas, honest answer, they're good. Like the payouts in those and how they work are good. I don't like certain things. I don't like the armada directive limitations and some of the sourcing mechanic, which feels a little bit too close to Zindi for me. But overall, I do like them. New chaos tech, I'm kind of indifferent, but here's why I like chaos tech. Part of the free-to-play path, or part of the quality of life, was a free-to-play path to chaos tech. I like that a lot. The new chaos techs, I'm a little bit indifferent to, but that doesn't mean they're bad. Overall, I think the features this month were a B. It wasn't overwhelming. It wasn't a ton of new hostiles. It was solid. I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was great. It wasn't as good as November, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't the IA building, but it certainly wasn't, the launch of the Mirror Universe. So moving on to the next part, All right, this is where y'all might get mad at me, but A+ on the ship. I think it's just like the NSCA. Day one sourcing. This is actually better than the NSCA in that aspect because we literally saw it in the first 24 hours. Day one sourcing, not that hard to do if you're of the appropriate 42 and above level, and it's a solid ship that can work for anybody. Don't have a ton of complaints to say about the Revenant as it is. Now, do I like more loops? Like all of you who've been here for 6 years, yeah, I'm kind of tired of more loops, but just grading it objectively on what it is, I like it. All right, events where get quite squirrely. So personally, I do like getting mats, as we were talking about, but I still want event store currency. Call me greedy, Scopely, I don't care. So I'm going to say that the amount was good. I'm giving it a C, and I personally feel like I'm being a little bit generous there, but I'm more than happy to have the players eviscerate me and say that I'm being ridiculous. That's completely fine. The daily event overhaul, D. The only thing that saves this is Pinnacle of Power, and I really want people to appreciate getting Pinnacle of Power. I truly dislike almost every other daily event. Personally, that doesn't mean everybody else will. Not a fan except for the Pinnacle of Power given to everybody. Now, on the opposite side, I can nitpick the weeklies, but I think the weeklies have been done really well. Very happy about that, and I am okay with the March of Progress. I think it's a little bit hard. You have to complete 60% of the qualifying leaderboards, SMSs, etc. during the month. Very doable, but it's a lot of work. So I'm kind of on that. I would actually lower it down because of the amount of work. That's me. So overall, I would say the event calendar is a solid B, maybe a C. Keep in mind that the event calendar also gave me choice rewards and currency, so I can't be too negative about it. Then finally, communication. I'm personally going to give them a B. There's some things that I really don't like. I don't feel like some of the end of year stuff was communicated very well, nor was some of the event store stuff communicated very well. But I got to give them props for literally having a public Q&A and having multiple community team and live ops people available during the entire month. I want to see more of that, so I'm going to encourage it. Again, if y'all think I'm being too kind, all you have to do, because my vote is worth the same as yours is, you give your own opinion. And stability, D. I mean, it has been rough, honestly. And it's rough. Woof. But anyway, there's my grades. There's my thoughts. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Please do me a huge favor. Share this out with your alliance and your mates. Greatly appreciate it. You lovely lads and ladies. Live long and plunder. Stay safe with their Space Cowboys. Deuces. That's me. Catch you on the next Star Trek Flick Event video. And we're out. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.